Welcome to our live Q&A. Every now and then I like to ask my audience questions that they have and answer. And I love the questions that I received this time around because they are so relevant. I get similar questions on a daily basis. So I'm really excited to answer these for you guys. If you see me looking over here, that's where I have the questions typed up. So I will answer those. If you guys have any other questions, just feel free to type in the comment box and I will be able to answer those. If you're live watching, I'll answer them live. If you are watching the recording, still type your question and I will address them on the next Q&A that we do. For those of you who don't know me very well, my name is Dr. Gretchen Hawley. I am a physical therapist and a multiple sclerosis certified specialist. So I started posting on social media about 3.5 years ago because I just felt like there was a big need for more education for people who have multiple sclerosis. There was not a lot out there at that time on social media. So I brought it upon myself to share exercises and symptom management tips and tricks and strategies. And I've been hosting some live Q&As ever since then, as well as posting regularly on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media outlets. And most recently I have a podcast called the Missing Link Podcast, but we can get into that if you guys have any questions. Thank you for tuning in. Our first question is from Heidi, who says, I think I have exercise intolerance. I can feel when I add on too much too fast. Any advice to help me from overdoing it and feeling poorly? So this is a great question, Heidi. I get this question all the time. And there's two groups of people. The type of people who will exercise and they can tell in the moment when they are overdoing it because you just feel right away that you're getting fatigued or that you're getting sore. And then there's a second group of people where you don't feel that you overdid it until after the fact. So I'm going to answer this question in two ways. If you are in that first group, that means that you feel like you're overdoing it while you're exercising. So this is the easier group. If this is you, then the simplest thing to do is take more breaks and or stop early. As soon as you have that feeling of, uh-oh, am I overdoing this? Or, oh, I'm really feeling this, stop. When you have MS, you should not push into fatigue, ever. If anything, by pushing into fatigue, you are training your brain that exercise means fatigue. So anytime you exercise, you'll also feel fatigued, which we do not want. So don't push yourself into any extremes. There is no good that will come from that. So that first group is easier to manage because you can stop in the moment. The second group is a little bit more challenging because you might feel completely fine while you're exercising, but later on you feel like, oh my gosh, I overdid this. I feel awful. I definitely did too much today. If you're in that group of people, the best thing to do is first, when you're feeling that way, analyze, what did I do today? So for my exercise, what did I do? How long was it? How many minutes or hours did I exercise for? How many rest breaks did I take? How long were my rest breaks? Get really, really picky with what you did. The more information you can gather, the better. The reason for that is because the second step is to then change what you did. So then there's nothing, we can't go back in time. Let's say you exercised, you felt great while you were exercising, but then after the fact, you can tell you overdid it. There's no going back in time. We cannot change the fact that you overdid it during your exercise, but we can change what you do next time. So analyze detail by detail, as specific as possible, what you did. Then the next time you exercise, whether that's a few days later, a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever it is, change what you did. So perhaps you do the same exercise routine, but you add in more rest breaks. Therefore, it's going to take a little bit longer to get through all of the exercises, but take more rest breaks. Maybe you plan your rest breaks because you likely won't feel like you need to rest. You'll feel like you're fine, but maybe, just as an example, every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, you stop for 2 minutes and just rest. Breathe it out, sip some cold water, and then jump back into it. So you can plan rest breaks. The second thing is don't exercise for as long. So maybe you take some of the exercises out or you limit the amount of time. Let's say you started on a recumbent bicycle for 20 minutes. Well, maybe you still do the recumbent bicycle, but only for 10 minutes. So you're lessening the amount of time. If you originally exercised for 40 minutes, try for 30 next time. And or the third way is lessen the intensity. So you keep the same exercises for the same time, but don't push yourself as much. So those are 3 strategies that you can use if you're the type of person where you feel fine during the exercise, but you clearly overdid it and you can tell later on. You have to plan when your rest breaks will be, how long the exercise will be in total, how many exercises you'll be doing during your routine, and the intensity, because you'll feel fine during it. So it's really important that you plan these things ahead of time. Then, let's say you planned everything out, you did it according to your plan, and then analyze again. Okay, well, how did I feel? If you still feel like, woof, I overdid it again. I felt fine while I was doing it, but I overdid it again. That's okay. Write down what you did. You probably already have it written down since you made the plan. And then the next time, do even less. So it is this trial and error phase where you have to try something new, analyze how it went. If you felt great, if you didn't overdo it, awesome. Keep it at that level next time. If it still was too much, back off even more. So I hope that's helpful. I'm just going to look at the questions before I move on to the next question that I received. Let's see, people joining from New Jersey, from the UK. Okay, so Lydia says, I don't realize I've overdone it until it's too late. Yeah, so Lydia, you're in this second group of people that we talked about. I feel okay when I'm exercising. After exercise, then I feel awful. This keeps me from being consistent. Yes, and Lydia, I saw your question. I'll answer it again, or not again. Sorry, I'll answer it during this call. So yeah, if you're that type of person that you don't feel like you overdid it until it's too late, until after the fact, that is the best strategy, what I just reviewed. So analyze, be as specific as possible, and then change it for next time, monitoring the intensity, the duration, and the rest breaks. I also see two people saying that you have difficulty getting up, so standing up once you are down on the floor. So I actually have a video. This is a very common one, so common that I made a video of me demonstrating not only how to get down to the floor safely, but also how to stand up from the floor. So this is something that is extremely important to do, and it's important that you have good strength in your legs, in your core, in your arms to help you with this. So I made that video and I posted it in the Missing Link. So if you are a Missing Link member, my online MS Wellness program, go to the task-specific exercise category and search for Getting Up from the Floor. You will see the video there. For those that are not a member, the best way that I can verbally explain this is that there's several different ways to stand up from the floor, and you have to pick which is best for you. So it's hard to verbally explain an exercise, but option 1 is roll over to your hands and knees. And for some people, they'll keep their hands on the floor the whole time. For other people, they can get one leg up and move their hands up to the wall or a couch or a chair or some type of surface to help you stand up from there. So there's a few different strategies. However, you need quad strength, hamstring strength, hip flexor strength. So one great exercise that you can do to improve your how do I want to phrase this? Your maneuvers to stand up from the ground is, if you're on the floor or if you're on your bed or even a couch, practice crawling. Crawling will strengthen your core, it will strengthen your hip flexors, it will strengthen your legs, your hamstrings, your quads, all of it. So that's a really great exercise to do. Keep in mind, if you have difficulty standing up from the floor, I would not suggest crawling on the floor because you're going to have to stand up from the floor, meaning you can do it in bed, you can do it on a couch. So that's one exercise that can be helpful. Another really helpful exercise is squats. This exercise, I have a YouTube video on how to squat properly, so definitely search that. Having proper squat strength will help with your control while standing up and getting down to the ground. So I hope that helps. Lydia says that's a good idea. I'm going to have to plan more rest breaks. Yes. Okay, so our next question is from Marianne. Marianne says, what helps with spasticity, especially for day after leg exercises? And then she gave a few examples, which I really like. So she said foam roller, Epsom salt bath, massage tools, question mark. So the first thing I want to share, as Marianne pointed out, whether she knew this or not, is there's a lot of different options and there is not one thing that works for everyone. So Marianne just gave us several ideas. A foam roller can absolutely help. Epsom salt bath can help. Massage tools, so whether it's like the Theragun or, do I have it? I do have it, but it's out of reach. The stick, or you hold on to either side and you roll on the muscles. So there's stretching is another thing that can help. Just massaging with your hands is another thing that can help. So there's lots of different things. The most important thing, no matter what strategy you use, is that you know which muscles are spastic. And some of you guys might be thinking, oh, I know exactly, I feel it's right here. This is where my spasticity is. But other people might just say, well, it's my whole leg. Well, is it really your whole leg? It might be, but more likely than not, it's one muscle group. It's your knee flexors or your knee extensors or your calf muscles or your hip flexors or hip extensors, hip abductors. More often than not, it is one muscle group, maybe two, but mostly just one. So most importantly, know which muscle group it is so that whichever strategy you use, whether it's a foam roller, a massage, stretching, you know you can use those for the proper muscle group. Too many times I've had people who come to me with spasticity in their quads, the front of their thigh, and you know you have spasticity in the front of your thigh if it's hard for you to bend your knee. Your quads straighten your knee. So if it's really hard for you to bend your knee, it's because of quad tightness, quad spasticity. And these clients will come in and they'll say, my knee is so spastic, but I'm doing so much stretching. And I'll say, great, what stretches are you doing? And immediately they're so proud to say, I'm doing my hamstring stretches. And I'm like, okay, good. It's always good to stretch the hamstrings, but that's not where your tightness, that's not where the spasticity is. So it's really important that you know where the spasticity is. Then you can implement some of these tools. So foam roller, the salt bath, a device, I think it's called the jack knobber. You just hold on to it with your hand and it has these knobs that come out of it. And you can rub that on the tight muscle. If you have good hand dexterity, you can just use your thumbs and massage the muscle with your thumbs. Stretching, if you're stretching the appropriate muscle group, there's two different ways. Well, sorry, there's three different ways. There's static stretching, where you hold for 20 to 30 seconds, and you do that for usually between 2 and 4 times each side. So I always go with 3 because that's right in the middle. Or there's dynamic stretching, which means you only hold for about 3 seconds, then back off of the stretch, and then feel the stretch, and then back off. So it's this intermittent. You're stretching for 3 seconds, then back off. Then you're stretching again, then back off. And you do that 20 to 30 times for each of the muscle groups. And the third type, I call this a third type because it's different enough. It's similar to static stretching where you just hold. But instead of holding for just 20 to 30 seconds, you actually hold for many minutes. It can be 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. Newer research is indicating that for spasticity, prolonged static stretching is best. So finding the right muscle group to stretch, then holding it for many minutes on end. Let me see if there's any questions on that. Doesn't look like it. Okay, perfect. So I hope that helps Marianne and anyone else who is suffering with spasticity. The other question that I wanted to answer is from Lydia, who says, how do you stay consistent with exercise when strength, balance, and energy is changing daily? This is such an important question. I'm so glad that you asked this, Lydia, because for so many people, I don't want to say everyone with MS, but most people with MS, your symptoms are changing on a daily basis, even minute to minute for some people, meaning you might have great intentions and highly motivated to stay consistent with your exercises, but your fatigue kicks in unexpectedly. Or maybe your vision goes, or sensation changes, or weakness, anything. So, what I propose to all of the clients that I work with, whether it's a Missing Link member or one-on-one in my mentor membership, is come up with at least 2, if not 3 different exercise programs. So, one exercise program I call my Rockstar program. And this is for your Rockstar days. You wake up, and you feel ready to go. And whenever you planned, let's say you planned to exercise at 1 p.m., you planned it at that time, you feel good at that time, you're going to get going. If you feel great, you have a Rockstar Day program, meaning it might be your harder exercises or a longer program. And then you have a second program that I just call my regular program, my regular day. So let's say you scheduled yourself to exercise at 1 p.m. and you're feeling okay. Your fatigue is kicking in. You definitely don't feel like you can do your Rockstar program, but you can do something. You have this easier day. Now, I don't mean that it's easy, but it's easier than your Rockstar day. Maybe it's fewer exercises. Maybe there's more rest breaks. Maybe it's just stretching instead of focusing on balance. Maybe your Rockstar day is strength and balance and walking. And your regular day might be mostly stretching with a little bit of strengthening. It's going to be different for everyone because everyone has a different level of strength with these exercises. Some people balance is okay and their strength is awful. Other people it's opposite or it's both. So that's your regular day. Then your third day is for your days, your third program, sorry, not your third day, your third program is for the day that you say you'll exercise at 1 p.m. and you can't get out of bed. You are like, you really want to do something, but you're in bed all day. It's a high fatigue day, or for whatever reason, you're just not feeling great. I actually, again, calling out the Missing Link, I just recorded a video for the Missing Link that's called Exercises to Do in Bed. It's a 12-minute routine that I take you through to exercise in bed. There are so many exercises that you can do in bed or from the couch. You don't even have to stand up. You don't have to move. You can stay wherever you are. And it might be just some light arm movements, just punching forward, some arm jumping jacks. Or maybe it's, if you're sitting back, maybe you pull yourself up to sitting unsupported and then sit back, or light leg movements. But it's very light exercise. So there's a lot. So long story short, there's 3 different programs. One is your Rockstar program, one is for your regular day program, and the third one you can call, your exercises to do in bed, or your exercises to do from the couch, or from wherever you typically find yourself on those days. So that, I hope that helps, Lydia. That is how I suggest staying consistent, because if you're, as you mentioned, strength is different every day, balance is different every day, energy is different every day. So if you have a program that's heavy on balance, you will not be successful with that program some days, but that's okay because you have a backup program. And this can be totally dependent on who you are and who your, or not who, but what your MS is like. If you know that some days your strength is good, but balance is bad. Other days your balance is good and strength is bad. Or one day your flexibility is really good, but things are bad. Instead of doing my option of Rockstar day, regular day, and bed day, you could do strength day, balance day, stretching day. So just take this advice with a grain of salt and apply it to you and your life with MS. That's how you'll get the most consistency out of it. All right, I think those are all of the questions for today, at least for right now. And I will be doing these. I try to do this at least once a month. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Marianne says, can you build up stamina? Yes, absolutely. You can build up stamina. The trick to building up stamina is to do as many as you can of whatever exercise it is, but stop right before you feel fatigued. Now, this is tricky if you're in that second group of people where you don't feel fatigued until the next day or 2 days later. But as best as you can, do as many repetitions as you can before you feel fatigued, and then stop and rest. Your rest can be 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes, but then once you're rested, do another set of as many as you can until fatigue is almost kicking in. So it's tricky, but it is doable. I'm just going to look at my phone here to see if any questions came in that I missed. I think we're good. Can you build up stamina? I cannot wait to visit your site to continue to find your goodies. Awesome, Joanna. Thank you so much for sharing. You're welcome. All right, so I'll leave you guys with that. If you are interested, my website is missinglink.com. I have lots of different goodies on there, including information and a behind the scenes video on what the missing link is. So if that program sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can watch on your own time a behind the scenes look at that. I will be doing this again in about a month, maybe a little bit sooner, but that's all I've got for you guys now. Thank you for sending in questions, and until next time, have a great day.